Hello everybody, and thanks for tuning in. We have some goggles, or visor. I know Bruce calls them visors over there at RC Model Reviews, and I honestly don't know what is the better term. What do you think? Goggles, visor? I just always refer to all of them as goggles. These are the Eachine VR D2. They feature a 5-inch 800 by 480 resolution screen, 40 channel with race band FPV goggles, and it also has a DVR and an adjustable lens here on the side. And the first things we want to show you is the battery. These pictures started popping up later. Looks like we've got the classic 18650 cells inside of here, so the Fat Shark battery hack will probably work. Let me get that up close and personal. Yeah, it actually says that right here on the side. 18650. So we can make our own, but I think these were selling on the Banggood site for just, what was it, $5, something like that. So I don't know if you want to do that or not, or if just buying the replacements is fine. Also in the box, some wipes, wet and dry, for cleaning your lens, and a charger. Plugs into the wall. Has a single light right here. When it's charging, it turns red, or it's red, and when it's finished charging the battery, it turns green. And if you want to look at the bottom of the charger at its specifications, there you go. There we go. Okay. So my first impressions when I got it out of the box was that it was really small. It seems like these visors or goggles keep getting smaller and lighter. The materials they use keep being able to allow them to shrink them down. And if you follow my channel, you know that I have been using the KDS Kylin Vision goggles, and I like these quite a bit. I added a DVR to the side. I've got my Amway antenna on there. I bought a second battery for this one, and I just wanted to show you a little bit of a size comparison here. Let's go nose to nose with these guys. So massive difference there, right? I mean, I'm not even lining them up. And then let's go see if I can get top to bottom done very well here. This will give you a length. Let me make sure I get those squared up. Get the straps out of the way. So these are quite a bit. Hopefully you can see that. Got the angle right. And what else? Showed you that way, showed you that way. I think we got the dimensions covered there. This one does not have a lens that moves like this does, as you can see here. And the lens, it's plastic. It kind of jams up when you don't move them both at the same time. And you can see down in here, this is the plastic piece that moves. So they've kind of created a plastic mechanism in this slot and using a big wide piece to keep it from getting out of shape, which, like the Quantum goggles, those lenses get out of shape all the time and they get kind of cockeyed and they can flip vertically on you. These won't do that. We have two antennas that come with it, and if we quickly compare them, it's surprising how tall these antennas were. There's the Amway, and it's a good, I would say, ½ inch or 1.5 centimeters taller. Let me take those off so you can see the connector. I think it listed on the site, so you can always look it up yourself. So we have a pin, and we don't have a pin. As you can see, the cable comes out here. This was something when these first hit the site, we didn't get to see this cable. It talked about a battery, but you had no idea where it was. These pictures came out later. And our SD card goes right in there. And it is spring loaded, as I'm attempting to show you. And now I can't get it back in. Well, I'll use my little, there we go. You can hear it click. And around the front, we have our menu. This displays our channels. Then we've got cam, DVR, plus or minus. And when we get into showing what the menu system inside looks like, and I have it on the camera, I'll be pressing on these buttons, and I'll be telling or saying what I'm pressing on. And it was very confusing to me at first, well, the first few times. because I kept turning it around and looking at it. And then I would press the button, and then I would turn it back around and look inside, and I wouldn't get what I want. So the best thing that I can recommend to make it kind of how it clicked in my head was when you're looking in here, you're having your hands on the other side, and you're essentially using this button or this button. You're getting into the DVR, and then you're navigating here, or you're getting into the menu and you're navigating here. So plus minus, and it's the same way over here. But here, if you want to go forward, what I think of as forward in the menu, you press this button, and backwards in this button. This does have a standby feature, and that's all power does. So if you have your battery plugged in, you press the power button, and this will stay lit, and the screen will go out. The battery holds back here, and this is something I'm not crazy with. I have had continual troubles with this just sliding out when I'm in transport. So in my view, we want to stick something on our battery just like we do with our quads and here in order to secure it. The plastic that it's made of is a little bit of a soft touch, not a really soft. I would say the KDS goggles plastic is a softer touch, and this is more firm, but it has a bit of that soft touch. Also, if we compare the foam padding, this has much more substantial foam. As far as the foam padding goes, this one is more comfortable. Now the problem many people reported is that this plastic piece sits on the nose. I think Bruce and many other people in RC groups have noted that. I really don't have an issue with it. I guess maybe I got a dip in my nose right where that thing just sits. But yeah, as you can see, this is my daily flyer. Oops, bumped the camera, sorry. And I haven't bothered to put anything on it. It just doesn't bother me. If it's sitting on my nose, I don't notice it. Maybe because I'm a glasses wearer, so I'm used to something on my nose. I'm not sure. But this one has a much bigger cutout. And with this cutout, we get light leak. And it's not just a little, it's kind of all the way around. So the good and the bad is you can put different size noses in here, but you're going to have to backfill with foam if your nose doesn't cover up where the light leak will come from. And while we're down here at the bottom, this is our port where we can mount to a tripod. We've got something down in there. No, it doesn't seem to be coming out. So you can mount this to a tripod, and you can lean into the goggles to use it in that fashion as well. The straps are kind of nice feeling. I would say they're the same sort of materials as the KDS goggles are, but you notice the KDS goggles straps are quite a bit bigger. So I suspect these will last longer. This does come with a battery alarm, but nothing that I have found is visual. It just has this, it has a speaker or a beeper or something in here that has this shrill that comes on, and when it's low, it doesn't stop. It's definitely gets your attention. It's highly effective. Let's get set up so I can get a camera and we can get a view down in here of the menuing system and how it functions, and then we'll go from there. Right before I show you the menuing system here, I wanted to show you something else. I'm a glasses wearer, and maybe that's why I wear these visors or goggles, or I'm always trying them out. Here's a spare pair of my glasses, and you can see they have these little hinges that come out here to both sides, and they don't fit. Not even close. Not even going to shove them down in here. It's just, you've got an edge right here. You might be able to wedge them down in there with some flex, or if you have a smaller set of glasses. So let's measure what it is in there. I'm going to go from the plastic edges on each side here. Let me get it dead center here, because there is some roundness to that. There I get 118. 118.46. So it's about 118 millimeters, maybe as much as 120 if I don't have this quite horizontal across there. So that will give you something to go on whether or not your glasses will fit. Okay, so I'm going to turn the power on now. So you can see that down here on the bottom it tells us how much time we have left to record. I have a 32 gig micro SD card in there. It tells us we have a card in there by what's up top. We also know we have no audio. Now I can tell you when I flew this, regardless of whether I had a mic on my quad or not, it would show that microphone up there. If I press the menu button, we're going to get into your typical controls. So we've got brightness, and so I've got the, well, I got the menu, bring the menu back up. Now if I press the left button, it's going up. If I press the button to the right of brightness, it's going down. And this button says minus, this says plus, but it's just the opposite over here. Oh, and there's a nice shot of the front, and then you can see our LEDs. Hopefully that comes through on camera, and then we have a little light leaking out through the SD card slot. So you can see me tucked in behind my camera here, but this is what the screen, the DVR screen, looks like. It tells us the time down here, how much time we have left to record on our current settings. We see the card icon, we see the microphone icon. I need to get my finger out of there so you can see. If we press the square button on the front, we get the menu, and we have the size, which if we select that, then we can select VGA, D1, and HD. My opinion, I've tried all three, and it doesn't matter. They're all the same. There might be differences within the file, but as far as what you view, you can't create pixels. It's only recording what it receives. You can turn the ability to record sound on and off, which is a nice feature. And if we go down here, go down to video time, you have the options of turning it off, 10, 20, and 30 minutes. If we long press that square button on the right hand side, we get the next tab, and we can see we can format our SD card. So if we are only using our DVR to make sure we can find a downed quad, then maybe you run out of time when you're having a long flight day and need to format it in the field. That's a nice little feature. You can change your language. You can reset the whole system. You can change the light frequency. Let's see what our options are there. 60 Hertz and 50 Hertz looks like is all we have. And then we can select our output, which is NTSC or PAL. We long press again, we're back to the DVR. Now pressing the button on this side, the far button, this one right here, DVR cam and plus, takes us back to our live view. We can see we have a AV1 right up here flashing. Press it again, we're back to the DVR. We press the menu button right here. And we get our screen controls, focus camera. That one says brightness because I can't get it to focus. There you can kind of see it. Brightness, contrast, color, hue, zoom. So you can go 16:9 or widescreen, and 4:3. We can also select the language here for our menuing system, and we can reset everything. Here in the DVR menu, if I press the far right hand button, if I long press that, it starts the recording. Press it again, it stops it. If I press the arrow that points to the left on the back side here, if I long press that, we get this screen. It's reading the card, and you can see up here at the top it lists files, and we can cycle through those files with the right hand arrow. Gives you a little image of what we last saw. You cycle through those. Here we are in a file. If we want to play the file, we press the square button on this side. And you can see it's starting to play, and then we can fast forward through it by pressing the right hand button. That's sorry, we can back it up or rewind. And then if we want to go forward, which is actually pointing this way to me, which is back, this is the part that's kind of intuitive. Oh, sorry, I got to go back into a file here. Let's go with this one. So we press to play. So if we want to fast forward, we got fast forward 1, 2, 4, 8. Whoa, it's some Speedy Gonzales flying there, isn't it? You can see the timer down there ticking away. Press it again, we're back to 1. Press this button over here, and we can rewind 1x, 2x, 4x, and 8x. So I'm just going to have this play, and I'm going to try to give this a best view I can so you can get an idea of what it looks like through the screen. You can kind of see the lines in that lens, which is a Fresnel lens, or Fresnel, I'm not sure how you say it. I'm going for a really slow flight. This is on one of my test flights where I've got 2 different DVRs running, and I'm also recording a camera inside in preparation to put this thing through its steps. It tells us our file name up there at the top, which is 16, which is it records in the format of PICT0016.AVI, all caps, which I found is the same on the Eachine Pro DVR, the orange one that I've got on the KDS goggles. Sorry, it's not focused great. Here we go. So if we long press the square button on the right hand side on these controls, the left arrow, the square button, and the right arrow, we can delete the item. If we long press again, we get that format screen again, the setup. So if you want to take an individual file and you want to get rid of it, while you're in the file, long press that square button, and then you can delete the file from there. You can also change the volume, but there's no volume on this one to speak of, so nothing to change there. Long press and you're back out of the menu. Also, I should try to demonstrate the chirp. This is the front side. It says low, of course, because it's not finding anything. If you listen real closely, now that the air conditioner is kicking on, you're not going to hear it probably. But if we listen real closely when we plug this in, we get a little chirp. You hear that? That's that buzzer or speaker, whatever's in there, that when the battery gets low, it goes crazy. And there's no way you can miss out that your battery's getting low. Alright, I think it's time we head outside and we do some testing with this diversity. Our diversity indicators are right up here with the lights. And I'll walk you through my little setup rig. But it's going to give you an idea of how it operates. I've got multiple cameras running, and I record from inside, I record on the DVRs, I record on another one, and then we can put it all on screen, and we can compare what the KDS goggles do with just one circular polarized antenna versus something that's set up with diversity like this. One thing I should show you I should have shown you right at the beginning, but I didn't, is our polarization for this. So this has got lobes that are similar to our all-in-one cams. Are kind of flat, and they are right-hand leaning, and we've got some hot glue in the middle here to help solidify things inside. Now I believe we're ready to go outside. I think I've shown you everything on the goggles, and we're ready to do some testing of what it's like to use these. Alright, here we are. We are going to test these 2 sets of goggles out. Sorry, I was just rearranging a bit. The first time I ran this test, I found that the camera that I have positioned in front of the D2s didn't actually pick up the LED lights. They're not very big, and outside they're difficult to see. So I added another cell phone camera to point down more directly at the lights themselves, and we'll see that in the upcoming block of videos. And I did my best to keep that from being too close to the antennas to be causing any sort of problem with the reception, but I wanted to make sure that we could see that, so we could see active switching. And this camera will be recording what we see on the lights and the display on the front, so we can discern any diversity changes or signal indicators of any sort. Each has a DVR, so I'll record from them both. This one I've also put an action cam. It's actually an SJ 4000 cam inside, and then I will use the back side of this towel to cover up the back end of that to make sure we don't have light leak and as good a picture as possible. I will be flying with the old Quantum V2s. That will not be part of the comparison. I think we can probably all agree that of the 3 goggles that we see here, the Quantum V2 has been the most thoroughly tested. Just about everybody has done one. That one does feature the add-on kit lenses, which are better, but still not as good as the KDS Kylin Vision goggles. and we'll see about the Eachine VR2 or VRD2 goggles. I will be flying the QX80, and we will be going around the backyard. You can see I have standing water, so I'm going to have to be very, very careful. And the reception is the worst over in this area, so we'll see how it goes when it gets over there. And it's quite humid, so that will bode well for testing the strength of the receivers. I'll get all the DVRs and stuff going, and we'll get started. We've got our videos laid out, and I went ahead and included the picture that's more towards the front where you can see the channel selection, just because I didn't want anybody to think I was pulling a smoke and mirrors or anything. So that video is not useful, just because nothing changes on that very bottom lower right portion. We can see the diversity switching in the next portion. I hope it's clear what we've got. We've got the DVR on the top left, we've got the KDS DVR on the top right, and we've got the SJCam 4000 peeking inside the goggles in the lower left. I apologize that that picture is out of focus. Tried a couple different times, and I just couldn't get that camera to focus, and setting up another camera inside those goggles, I wasn't able to rig anything up that was reliable. After this section, I'll just let this play out. I have a smaller section that we're going to kind of break down more frame by frame, and it's a bit nitpicky, but I thought I should throw that in there because I noticed it in editing, and it might matter to you in some way. Okay, we're inside the editing studio here. I'm just running a basic Sony Vegas here, and I wanted to step through this just a bit for us, because there's some things if you slow this down that you might not get through YouTube, and so I'm just going to step through this little section here. You see a little breakup on the KDS a little bit, a little breakup over on the Eachine or Eachine. Oh, we got ourselves a flicker there for a frame, then it comes back. You see the breakup there with the D2 on the DVR, but you don't really see it in the goggles. See it right there? This area right up in here. You're starting to get signal breakup, but not inside the goggles. There's a little bit more there. We can see a little bit of breakup inside the goggles, but on the DVR it's looks to be a little over half the screen. Meanwhile, the KDS is fine. Now we got another blank frame or 3 there. Comes back. Did you notice that here on the DVR how it's black and white? More frames dropped or gone. Now we've got some breakup. Look at the trees, how they're real bright orange. More frames gone, more black and white. Got a flash of breakup over here on the KDS. More frames gone out of the D2s. Well, a flash there where some frames were gone and came back real quick. A little bit more breakup. We've got a little breakup over here on the KDS. Okay, I just wanted to draw your attention to those sections because I don't think you're going to get that out of YouTube. Okay, back at the desk for a few final thoughts. The step-by-step breakdown of each frame, it was a little bit nitpicky, but I noticed it when I was editing and I thought it would be a good thing to include. More information is better than less information. It could be that some of the breakup that we're seeing is just poor quality antennas, but that's not what I was testing. I was testing the kit as it comes. You know, you can replace these with other antennas, and there's all sorts of options, and I believe Stu from UAV Futures did a test. I know that Bruce over at RC Model Reviews did some antenna testing, and recently Les at Painless 360, he also had a panel that he tested and seems to really like, and he mentioned in his video he bought a few more from a UK-based company. So those antennas could really bolster this unit. We saw where the LEDs were switching, so it did appear as though it was using both antennas. It could be that I have this patch antenna on wrong somehow. Maybe it's supposed to face this way, is supposed to be out instead of this way like I had it. I wouldn't think so, but it could be. If I'm wrong, let me know, and I can run another test with it facing the other way. I mentioned earlier in the first part of the review about wearing glasses. You can, of course, modify these like you would any of the box goggles to fit a pair of glasses that would fit in there. You have the measurement so you can go looking for something. There's a possibility that you can find a lens that will fit in here nicely and take care of the problem for those of us that wear glasses. I did call my eye doctor, and this is my prescription. So I don't know what all those numbers mean, but if your prescription's similar to that, you aren't likely to get a clear image. Any prescription's different, I can't say. I think if your vision is 20/20 or really close to that, this kit is a great kit to have. You'll be able to get a DVR and diversity, and then you can maybe invest in some additional antennas that work a little better than this and really get a strong unit. I think for the price, it's very reasonable. I do think there are improvements that they could make. Wider straps, maybe an additional place to put this cable. I didn't really notice it flopping around. a different kind of battery holster back here to help secure that battery a little bit, or another mechanism to secure it back here. Maybe we'll see a D3 version shortly where they'll make this more adjustable or stronger, or maybe it'll just be an upgrade option that we can buy. I think there's also the possibility that maybe it's just a firmware issue. You know, there's no ports on this thing to plug in USB or anything, but years ago, or maybe there might be devices similarly, where you could download a file, put it on your SD card, put that in, and maybe either with some button presses or just a file name, activates a firmware update for this thing. Who knows? This unit was just released. They could make improvements if that's a possibility. If not, this is what we've got, and I hope that you find the information useful. And if you do, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the section down below. And thanks for watching.